Hey friends, Barkey J. Dog here, back with another movie review. This time it's a classic sci-fi picture, 4D Man from 1959. Our story goes like this. Our hero is this here research scientist. He's working in a lab one night on a secret new invention he hopes will help him pass objects through other physical objects via a shortcut through the fourth dimension. He believes, augmented with a transformer gadget, that he can do this by sheer force of will. But instead, he comically sets fire to the building, and then his boss cans him. Well, he turns up at his brother's workplace looking for a job. His brother, Gary 7 here, also works for a research company, and his team is on the cusp of a new breakthrough, making a special impervious alloy. When Gary 7 is successful, the boss of the company takes most of the credit. Gary 7 says that doesn't bother him, but it kinda does. To add to his worries, his chick falls for his loser brother. Isn't that always the way? Well, one thing leads to another, and Gary 7 secretly perfects his brother's gadget, and lo and behold, finds he can pass through solid objects. Upset about his lot in life with his new powers, he robs a bank and suffers the effects of passing through the fourth dimension, aging rapidly. Finding that he can leech the life force of others to stave off the effect, he goes on a murder spree, believing in true madman fashion that he is invincible and godlike. Can Gary 7's brother make good and stop Gary 7? Which brother will Miss Kitka choose in the end? And what about this really annoying kid? In our cast, we have Robert Lansing as the 4D Man. He was in tons of stuff, mostly on TV. He was Control in the Equalizer TV series with Edward Woodward, you know, the good version from the 1980s. He co-starred as a police lieutenant in another one of my favorites from the 80s, Automan. He also starred in a spy series called The Man Who Never Was in the late 60s. His character was a spy who is a look-alike for a crooked millionaire who dies, and Lansing has to take his place, even with the millionaire's wife. He later starred in a TV movie called The Astronaut in 1972, where he's an administrator who orchestrates a plan to replace a dead astronaut who died on a Mars mission with a doppelganger who looks just like him and passes him off as the astronaut, including with the astronaut's wife. Harv Bennett from the Star Trek movies produced that one. And speaking of Star Trek, well, of course, arguably, Lansing is most familiar as Gary 7, the alien agent sent to Earth in the 1960s to prevent a nuclear accident, only to encounter the Enterprise crew. It's a great episode. Then we have Miss Kitka, Catwoman from the 1966 Batman movie. That's right, Lee Merriwether in her film debut, the former Miss America looking gorgeous. She co-starred with Buddy Ebsen in the long-running series Barnaby Jones. She was also in Star Trek as Losira in the episode That Which Survives. And hey, while we're at it, we also have this guy as Fred, the Barney Fife wannabe security guard. Does he look familiar? No? Oh, how about now? That's right, Guy Raymond. He was the bartender on the K-7 space station in The Trouble with Tribbles. Patty Duke is in this as well. That's right, she loves rock and roll and a hot dog makes her lose control. She's here as Lee Merriwether's niece. She's only in 2 scenes, but her character's pretty annoying in both of them. It's implied that the 4D man does away with her, but they never show that. She just kinda disappears from the movie, and Miss Kitka never seems worried about her or asks about her or anything. That's what you get for being annoying, kids. James Congdon plays Gary Seven's brother. He is alright. He appeared on TV and did other things. Nothing too impressive, though. He debuted in a bit part in When Worlds Collide, the George Pal film in 1951. He's okay here. It's about the best I can say. Also in the cast is this company doctor. Dean Newman was not an actor, although he looks good and he does alright in this. His real job was as a makeup man on the picture, but he was drafted to play the doctor due to the skimpy budget. The producer of 4D Man was also responsible for the cult classic The Blob, just 1 year earlier in 1958. Steve McQueen was slated to star in 4D Man, but he was difficult to work with on The Blob, so they replaced him with Lansing. Producer Jack Harris got the idea for 4D Man from a science fiction magazine cover he saw at a newsstand while on a business trip. The cover showed a man passing through a wall, and he took that idea and ran with it. One thing that really surprised me here was the brassy, jazzy score. I was digging it, but it was unusual. And the special effects, well, they range from some bad mats and things to really clever effects, like showing Lansing's hand stuck in a piece of metal, or in this scene where he passes his arm through a plate glass window. They used this thin beam of light to represent the window, and I thought that was really cool. They had a second opportunity to do that, but for some reason they didn't. And the aging makeup does indeed look really good. So, how about it? Well, this one was different and a lot of fun. For the most part, the cast is quite good, especially Lansing and Merriwether. And in the end, you do feel sorry for the 4D man. And that's what makes for a good monster in these pictures. You can see him being driven loony through no fault of his own. Not only from the effects of passing through the fourth dimension, but work stress and then losing his chick as well. Kino Lorber has done right by this one, not only with the print, but adding some lengthy interviews with producer Jack Harris, as well as Lee Merriwether. So this is the version to buy. While 4D Man may not be perfect, for what it was, I really liked the picture. So I'm giving 4D Man 2.5 paws up. Well worth a watch. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.